Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock of the Emerald Planet and Emerald Planet TV. We come to you on a week-to-week basis from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technology, services, and products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And as we have a planet of 9 billion people by 2038 and possibly 12 to 13 billion by the end of this century, how are we going to be able to take care of all these people on planet Earth? And that's what Emerald Planet's all about. We come to you looking at the solutions, the best practices from around the globe as we create the Emerald Planet. Hello, welcome to the Emerald Planet. We're making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And seeing the long-term impacts of climate change. We're glad to have you. Thank you for being with us. As we move forward through the 21st century, there are real emphasis on green jobs and green businesses. Very important as far as the future of employment, creation of new green businesses, to provide stability for families, communities, and, of course, their nations. And so Brian Rodgers is with us. He's the Director of Conservation and Sustainability of Constituent Services Worldwide. And we're going to be talking about some of the green jobs training happening around rain barrels and why this is so important. So Brian, looking at what CSW is doing, how did you really get into the training arm of rain barrels and creating people that actually have the skill sets to go out and be employed almost immediately, but also allowing them to, if they want, to create their own new green businesses?
Well, good question, Sam. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Welcome.
Good. It started with a program from the Department of the Environment, actually a grant I received when I was working with one of the nonprofits I work with in the district, Green Spaces for DC. Mm-hmm. They decided to give us a grant to work with youth from the Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services because they wanted to add an economic arm to the River Smart Homes program and an opportunity to train youth and get them involved in the economic side of the River Smart Homes program. So as you see here, this was one of the guys. We're teaching them about the parts and what it takes to build them. They were great. These young guys actually, a couple of them, if you go to the next slide, I'll show you. These are some of the parts that are involved. That's what I was talking about. These are the filters, the diverter boxes, and the tubes. So,
and the whole thing about this, Brian, is you're actually doing, in a sense, technology transfer into communities that traditionally have seen very little of that. And also you're training people within the communities not only to install and be a part of the front end of this, but also they can have their own business or can expand their job opportunities as doing long-term service and maintenance, correct?
Exactly. And it's also an education process because a lot of the folks that I dealt with in this particular project had never experienced anything like we were doing. Number one, on the installation side, and number two, there were parts of the city they haven't even uncovered. So this was a learning experience on multiple fronts. These two guys actually, we have a new training program that we did with the Department of, DC Water and UDC. The guy on the left actually went through the program and graduated, and now he has his own business. And the guy on the right actually is enrolled in the program and is now getting ready to be certified. So
I want to stop right here, Brian, and talk about why is it so important to have the creation of not only green jobs and underserved communities, but also to teach them and allow them to create their own new green businesses and be owners of their own business even if it's a non-employee business or they have one or two workers that's working with them?
Well, first of all, the green industry is relatively still new. And there's a lot of fresh opportunities and ways it allows for new businesses to be created. This is one area. It's virtually no overhead. You can get started pretty quickly. Yes, there are facets of it as far as insurance and things like that we have to give them guidance on, but it's virtually it's self-regulating. You can pick your own schedule. And one of the coolest things I think about it is that when these guys develop their own businesses, they go back and get their buddies as employees. And therefore, you're actually contributing to a whole community of economically.
Yeah, and I think it's incredible where you actually have, I'm going back and forth between these two
Sure.
because I know these are two different programs, but the whole thing about allowing people to have their own business is really where we need to be going in the 21st century, is that larger and larger businesses are either closing or manufacturing overseas. But this is something to putting, as an example, these rain barrels and all these homes. This is something that's very difficult to outsource any other country. You have to have people right here. And you have a relatively simple technology that you're introducing, but yet it has profound impact.
Yes, and it's also, like I said, it's education for communities of color because we're so used to uh, the standard jobs, the 9 to 5s, and this creates a whole different market. This new technology, the new green industry, is introducing people to a whole nother market area where they can control their own lives, create their own businesses, and like I said, they can go back, hire their buddies, family members, and create a business that's going to last them a long time. And this can be a secondary income also. This, you can regulate this so that in this respect, you can say do this on the weekends, a couple hours a week, and still have a regular job. So it's also income supplemental.
Now, looking at this gentleman here carrying the barrel, I actually, when you came and put one in here, I actually lifted this. It's not very heavy. But why is it so important that the local community citizens be involved in learning long-term maintenance and to understand what's really going on around the rain barrels? How is that a gateway entry into the entire environmental concern and environmental movement?
Well, it's kind of one of the first steps you can introduce yourself to understanding what the green movement is all about. Knowing how to capture stormwater. And like I said, these practices have gone on for generations. So you're kind of identifying with some of the stories that, especially folks like from the islands, from Haiti, from the Caribbean, those guys were doing this a long time ago. So we're teaching a generational practice. Also, we're introducing them into the new generation. This program is, when they see it in the cities, they'll know what they're dealing with, and they will know what impacts they're making. So it's really a multifunctional program.
Yeah, and I think it's quite impressive when you have people from within the local community, because literally they can be going from job to job or their business activity and walk or take the local bus. In 5, 10 to 15 minutes, they're actually at a job site where they're actually having great impact on people that they probably know and been around most of their lives. So, how is this new generation of these entrepreneurs and these new trainees? How are they changing and helping to change the environments within which they find themselves in ways that they probably never even thought about, maybe even 1 or 2 years ago, let alone 5 or 10 years ago?
Well, one of the objectives the Department of Environment has made a real effort to do is to educate underserved and communities on how the environment is important to them. Usually, folks are from on their day-to-day life, they don't worry about where the rain is going,
Mm-hmm.
what's happening around them in a lot of respects, because they're worried about bringing bread and food into the house.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're showing them a way you can make money, and teach them at the same time. You're actually showing them, here's an environmental impact that you can help, and here's how it affects your everyday life at your house.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those kind of things make it more understandable for everybody to understand that contributing to this industry means you're actually making the planet a better place.
Now, involving women, we have one of your trainees here that's getting involved, and I know that you've been trying to recruit women into this. So, why is it so important to have women involved in the Rain Barrel program, but also the four other branches of the River Smart Homes, River Smart Communities program, so that they are learning these skills as well?
Simple reason, Sam. Everybody plays a part. Women, children, men, everybody of all ages. So, one of our training programs, we've graduated folks from the age of 18 to 70.
Hmm.
So everybody has a chance. This is a career opportunity that anyone of any age, gender, anything can participate in and make an impact. Simple.
Yeah, and I think one of the things too that's important about all this is, and you brought this up, and it's something we don't really think about, is where now you have people moving among communities, even as a city as small as Washington, D.C., even as our national capital. It's smaller than, small towns in many countries around the globe. But having this mix of people and training them how to do green jobs, and it allows them the freedom to move anywhere that they want to go. And people respect it. They respect you, and they want to know because in many cases, you know something they don't know.
Well, actually, Sam, this is a global industry.
Mm-hmm.
You can translate these skills anywhere on the planet. So that's what makes it such a great thing to have in your tool belt.
Right, right. And it's very important that, everyone works together, collaborate. We're all in this together. The environment, Mother Earth is not a respecter of socioeconomic background or color, race, religion, any of that. We all have to protect Mother Earth. So, what do you think? And we have about 30 seconds for this question, Brian. What do you think that we're getting out of this that goes way beyond just the installation of rain barrels and capturing stormwater, groundwater, and processing it, using it, and getting us off of the centralized water system?
The
30
big
seconds. Got to be quick.
The big things I think are, number one, education of the issues, the environmental issues we face, and two, that green can equal green. That you can bring home the bacon with green jobs.
Yeah, I tell you, that's something we have to really drive home and allow people to have the opportunities for that. This is Brian Rodgers. He's the Director of Conservation and Sustainability, Constituent Services Worldwide. Just talking about green job training, that's why it's so important, and how to use rain barrels as a catalyst to mix society, to address the environment, and protect Mother Earth as we create the Emerald Planet.